Jeremy Boudinet with Nextiva. We're back for another exciting Nextiva webinar. I'm very excited to be hosting a great guy, a well-known coach, a fellow Tennessee native like myself, Coach Micheal Burt. And we're here to talk about a very important topic. As he says, the one thing that affects everything, and that is confidence, and how to be more confident as a business professional, as a person, and all that good stuff. And I've watched a ton of Coach Burt's content since we scheduled this webinar, and I'm actually really thrilled about this, Coach. I think you speak to something that every single professional deals with. You speak about it with passion, and you have a very systematic approach to it that I think people need to hear, and we're really excited to share. So thanks, everyone, for joining the webinar. We are going to be taking your questions throughout the webinar. You're going to be able to submit them via the sidebar. So just go ahead and type them in. Coach Burt will be answering them as we go through our presentation. And before we jump into that, though, I'm going to go ahead and give you our quick table of contents. So we're going to do some quick introductions. We're going to introduce Coach Micheal Burt. So we're going to be going through confidence. We're going to be going through what you can do to get confidence, how you can build it, protect it, all that good stuff. And Coach, I'll just hand it over to you. Let's get some more information about your background and what you do.
Well, you know, I was a former championship women's basketball coach, and I started coaching very early in life. But one of the fastest things I figured out as a young 21-year-old head coach was that confidence was the one thing that affected everything. Okay. When mom and dads would drop their kids off to me at 14, they said, my daughter's got a lot of potential. She just needs X. Many times what she needed was confidence. Okay. We're going to get into that. The memory of success, repetition, share of a unique ability to the marketplace. And so I would go to work on the knowledge, the mind, the knowledge, the skill, the desire, and the confidence of the player. And when I got that confidence high and I activated that prey drive, it was over. And that's the same thing we do today with business people. Confidence is the one thing that affects everything. So now we coach business people versus basketball players, and we're coaching some of the top business people in the world, small business owners, all the way up to billion-dollar companies. And I think a good coach should be in the business of building, maintaining, and protecting your swag, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And whether you're in sales, marketing, you're a business owner, you know, whatever you're trying to achieve, you have to have confidence to follow through and execute and do great things, right? So I think the important thing that we'll be talking about too is I think everyone at some point faces a crisis of confidence. Yeah. And we're going to learn how to, A, get confident, and B, how to overcome lost confidence, things like that. So I'm tempted to go back into this deck here. I think that might have been what screwed us up. So let me give it one more shot, and if it works, great. If not, we will just go sans deck. So, all right, Coach. Can you see my screen okay?
I can, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's dive in here. So let's start with what is confidence. Go ahead and give us your definition.
So if you went to a psychologist, they would tell you that confidence is the memory of success. Okay. Now, I like that. Success breeds more confidence. Working a muscle makes you want to work the muscle more. Winning makes you want to win more. I agree with that. But the challenge with that definition is, what if you haven't had any confidence? Mm-hmm. You know, Lou Holtz used to say, what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. Mm-hmm. As confident as I am, there can be things that happen in my personal life, in my business, that literally years of building confidence, it could be torn down in a day. It could be torn down in a second. It could be torn down in a minute. So I believe confidence is an internal knowing that you can create or manifest what you see in your mind, even when other people don't believe you can. Okay. Confidence is the distribution of a unique ability to the marketplace with the reward of love, appreciation, money in return, which builds more confidence. So I've got different definitions of confidence. But I do believe it is an internal knowing that you have the prey drive and guts to see something and go do it.
Yeah, and even you make a great point. Even when others don't believe you can, it's not about what others think; it's about what you think, right?
Yeah, because most people, you know, they're kind of taking out their insecurities on you. Mm-hmm. Things that they won't try, they don't think you should try. Things that didn't work for them, they don't think will work for you. And it has more to do. It says more about them than it does about you. right? So I think confident people go places other people won't go. They do things other people won't do. They meet people other people won't meet. They interact at higher levels that other people would never, because of a fear of rejection. And we'll get into that at some point, because a fear is an unpleasant emotion that creates a belief that something's going to harm me. Because of a fear, I don't call people. I don't go out into the marketplace. I don't date somebody new. I don't get married after divorce, whatever, because I got some kind of fear that's holding me back. What I really have is a confidence problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I love, so we have the memory of success and we have the internal knowing that you can create or manifest something even when others don't believe you can. So that is inherently confidence. So let's go into, how do you get confidence? You have some great thoughts here on that. So how do you get confidence, Coach? How does somebody just start becoming more confident?
So I want you to think that the private victories precede public victories. Mm-hmm. Confidence is gained 1 inch at a time through one action at a time. We think about confidence like this. Confidence is a caboose. If it was a train, it's a caboose to knowledge, skill, desire. The more knowledgeable I am, that means the more study I do, the more preparation I do, the more confident I am. The more skill, the more I skill up. Like we role play, we practice, we train. The more skill I have, the more confident I am. The more desire I put into something, the more confident I am. So when I've got more knowledge, more skill, more desire, a natural byproduct of that is going to be I'm more confident. But confidence is affected in all 4 parts of your nature: how you feel about your body, how sharp you are with your mind, what kind of drive or drive or passion you have with the heart. All of that feeds into your confidence as a person. So you get it through one word: repetition, man. Mm-hmm. It's muscle memory. As an old basketball coach, I used to have them players shoot 500 shots a day, and they couldn't figure out why. Why are you making me shoot 500 shots? Well, it's because when you get in a game with 2,000 people watching, and your boyfriend's up in the stands, and your parents are yelling at you, and your coach is yelling at you, you ain't got time to think. Thinking is actually a liability at that moment. Mm-hmm. What you need to be able to do is just do it. And the way you know how to do it is you did it 500 times a day, 5 days a week. It's 2,500 shots. Then you are confident in taking that shot because you don't even think about it. It's called muscle memory.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so you've sort of described it as through a demonstrated capacity of doing. So sort of dive in, that's sort of what you're saying right here with repetitions.
You know,
right?
I've got this book out called The Accountable Church, and one of my favorite passages in the Bible is in Matthew, in the parable of the talents, and I like reading different interpretations of the Bible. And one interpretation I saw, one pastor said it this way: when the person showed a demonstrated capacity to use a talent, they were awarded more talents. Okay, and I heard that, and I'm like, boom. The reason I'm confident today is because I have shown a demonstrated capacity of coaching thousands of people over the last 27 years. Okay. It's not arrogance. It's, I know I have a certainty and a conviction about me because I've seen it work, man. Now, if I just started and I hadn't seen it work and I hadn't helped anybody and I didn't have that demonstrated capacity, I wouldn't be confident. But there's a something happening in our society where there are people who do not have a demonstrated capacity, but are claiming to be experts. Mm-hmm. I want to know, if you're telling me how to sell, how much are you selling? If you're telling me how to build an organization, how big is your organization? If you're telling me how to make money, how much money do you make? Like I want to know that you've actually done it versus you're just getting on Instagram or Facebook and trying to tell me how to do it. And you ain't even done it. Like I'm trying to tell people how to win championships that ain't won championships, or how to write books that ain't written books, or how to speak. You know, I saw a guy the other day that said he's a professional speaking coach. And I'm like, well, are you getting paid to speak? Because if you ain't getting paid to speak, you ain't a professional speaker. You ain't even a professional speaker. How could you coach people how to get paid speaking? So I think, to me, that's a false sense of confidence, a false sense of reality. And I'm seeing more and more of that in our society today, is a total detachment from the reality of what's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, you make a great point that everything comes down to doing it. You call it long obedience in the same direction, doing the same thing over and over and over again, achieving those small wins. You know, like it's like going to the gym for the first time versus going to the gym for the 1,000th time. You're going to feel much more confident the 1,000th time that you go into the gym than you do the first time, or the first time you try to overcome an objection in sales versus the 1,000th time. Yeah. You know, and that all goes back to the memory of success, right? That like when you have successfully overcome an objection in sales, you have that internal memory of it, and you sort of have this like muscle memory of here is how I did this, and you can just react and do things appropriately, right? That it all kind of works together, correct?
Yeah, I think when you hear long obedience in the same direction, that's actually a book title by Eugene Peterson, and it's a great title. Because what I study mastery, okay, and you're going to hear people say that mastery is 10,000 hours of practice, and that's what Gladwell wrote about in his book, 10,000 Hours of Practice. But Erickson, the guy who did the study, said it's not just 10,000 hours of practice; it's 10,000 hours of consistent practice, deliberate practice with a coach, with correction. Like you could do something for 10 years and not master it. The mastery comes in that long obedience in the same direction. I'm doing it. I'm working the muscle. I'm getting correction. I'm getting feedback. I'm changing. I'm improving. Okay. So I'm more interested in mastery than cotton candy. There's a lot of cotton candy out there. What I like is true people who have mastered something. I did another webinar today with a real estate agent who's doing over 100 deals per year without a team. And he's on Instagram and he's moving and I think people think he's not legitimate. Man, it didn't take me but 15 or 20 minutes to know this dude is legit. Like he puts the work in. He knows what he's doing. He's mastered that craft. It's not smoke and mirrors, man. He has got a demonstrated capacity of doing it. It was confidence. It wasn't arrogance. It was like, this dude knows how to do it, man. And it only took me just a few minutes to figure that out. We don't need a year to figure it out with people. We just need a few minutes to know this is a legitimate person, man. They've done it.
That's a great point. Going back to confidence and the way it benefits you in everything you're doing, right? Because when you see a confident person, it's like it registers on like a subliminal level that this person is confident. I trust what he's doing. He knows his stuff. He or she can help me in whatever they're professing they're gonna be able to help me on, right?
Yeah, I just think I want to go back to that demonstrated capacity. The people you're seeking counsel from, you need to know they've done what they're telling you to do. You don't want to go to a broke financial advisor, an out of shape doctor. You don't want to go to a coach that's never won anything or produced anything. You want to say, hey man, I want to just see the resume of what you've done and how you can help me get to the higher frequency.
Absolutely. And so one of the things, going back to sort of how do I get confidence as an individual, you make some great notes about things you can do. Every time you make and complete a commitment to yourself, every time you do a small action for yourself, this the private stuff you're talking about, that builds confidence, right? Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, and I want to give an example here. Jorge, Jorge, you over there? Can he hear me? Come over here. Jorge, come here for a second. So about 90 days ago, something like that, I hired a guy on my team, on my payroll, by the way. Look at this big scary dude right here. Look how big this dude is. Hey. Okay. I hired this guy to be my personal trainer and to look out for me and make sure everything's good everywhere I go. And the main thing though is he's got me now in the best shape of my life. I'm stronger than I've ever been. He's got me working muscles I never worked. Now, what do you think that does for my confidence?
It has to elevate it.
Yeah, so here's my point. Now that I'm working out on a consistent basis with a trainer, with a professional, with a person who's pushing me at that level, now I'm finding new levels. I'm finding levels I didn't even know I had, man. I'm finding muscles I didn't even know I'd ever work. I'm finding hidden potential. So what that does is it elevates my confidence, gives me more energy. But here's the interesting part of once you start building confidence, you get very protective of it. Like you don't want, like now I'm like, man, I don't want to miss a day working out. Like that's I want to work the muscle. It's the whole concept of working a muscle gives you more confidence. That muscle could be making outbound sales calls. It could be getting in front of the people to speak. It could be knocking on doors, going door to door. It could be making presentations like this where you get better and better and better and better. And the better you get, you're like, man, this is good. This feels good. Yeah. But that's what that dude is taught me, is how to get tougher physically. But there's a bigger parallel there, and it's the usage of a muscle builds confidence. Any muscle, the more you use it, the more it works, the more you're going to want to use it more and more, man. That's the big lesson there.
Absolutely. And it goes to everything from I remember when I was at my last company, I was our marketing leader, and I wrote all this content for us, and then I ended up teaching myself Google Analytics because I cared so much about, is this content getting viewed? How's it getting viewed? Et cetera. And it sort of was built, it all sort of builds upon each other because you want to protect what you're building and you want to enhance it. And so it's fascinating how that's like a natural, when you do, I feel like that's a natural outgrowth of doing things for yourself that are positive, whether it's physical or with work, right? Yeah. So I love it, man. So we're going through back through this demonstrating capacity of doing, long obedience in the same direction, small commitments to yourself, and completing them. Love it, Coach. So let's go to what people can do to build confidence. And we're talking, I love what you talk about here with planning, nourishing your mind, body, heart, and spirit, staying in a dynamic state. Can you go through that with people?
All right. So think about energy as 3 states. We're all in 3 states of energy. Mm-hmm. We are either dynamic, and a dynamic person is interesting, curious, hungry, moving. Like they're open. They're not guarded. They're open people. They're out in the universe trying to do big things. You find they become people of interest. You're like, man, that dude's doing things. He's dynamic. Then you got static. Static is stuck, complacent, in a rut, bored, stationary. Okay. Then you got entropic, which is disintegration. And these are cycles we go through in our life. That's the cycle, right? You're either it's like an airplane. You're either ascending at a static position at 30,000 feet, or you're descending. Okay. And so when you're thinking about this concept of how do I build confidence, I want to get to a dynamic state. So how do I do that? I go to work on all 4 parts of my nature. So for the body, I'm working physically on myself. And for me, that's training daily. That's eating right. That's taking the vitamins I take. That's working out at a high pace every day. I'm protecting the body, man. I'm confident in the body. Then I'm working on my mind. I'm reading something daily. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm studying. I'm going to conferences. I'm getting coaching. I'm learning, right? For the heart, I'm protecting my heart. I'm guarding my relationships. I'm protecting my passions. Okay. I'm feeding that daily. And for the spirit, I'm feeding myself. For me, I'm a spiritual person. So, for me, that's how I start my days, with what I read. It's being in a dynamic state. It's a lot of what I talk about in the Accountable Church book. But to me, I'm feeding the spirit. Like I'm feeding all 4 parts of my nature. Okay. Now, when one of those parts is not operating at a high frequency, the body, the mind, the heart, or the spirit, your confidence is going to drop. When you're not confident in the body, your confidence is going to go down. When you're unprepared, you haven't prepared to come into the day, you don't know what you're doing, your confidence is going to be low. When you're not operating in a strength zone or passion area, and you're not using your unique talents to distribute to the world, you're going to feel stuck in the heart. When you have bad relationships with people close to you, or you don't feel this beat, you're going to be low on confidence. When you're not connected spiritually the way you need to be connected, your confidence is going to be low. You got to feed all 4 parts of your nature. Okay, that's how you build confidence. So you said, small victories, daily actions, getting up when you say it, working out like you say it, reading what you said you're going to do. Like just doing what you said you're going to do is going to build confidence. Private victories precede public victories. That's the concept of building confidence.
I love it, man. And let's go into real quick. You talk about planning your day, because that's something I think that's frankly I struggle with. And I think it's so important, though. Can you talk about what you do, your routine for planning your day every day, and how it puts you on offense versus defense? Yeah,
I believe in being an offensive mobility versus a defensive posture, man. And so I take 1 day off per week. That day off for me is Saturday. That's a complete day off from my business, where I spend time with my family, my 7-year-old daughter. I typically do very little work. At that point, I need a break. I need to rejuvenate. So I do believe in it, 1 day off. On Sunday, I begin getting very creative. So on Sunday, I get up and my family goes to church, and I get very creative. So you would see me do something like this. This is called mental mapping. Right? And what I'm doing when I'm mental mapping is I'm drawing up strategies in my mind for the week. This is a very 30,000 foot view. So every Sunday I'm going, okay, this Sunday I wrote down opportunity, and I wrote down key relationships. I wrote down about 12 relationships that I felt like had so much opportunity if I worked those relationships this week. And I do that every Sunday. I then move to a daily plan. So every night before I go to bed, I spend 7 to 15 minutes a night mapping out my next day. So you would see something like this. So what you would see is time blocking. On this day, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. I worked out, had some spiritual time from 6 to 7. I was moving somewhere. I had breakfast at 7:10. I departed at 7:45. I had a coaching company. 9 to 10, I did this. At 10:45, I did this. Like, my whole day is already pre-planned. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, on the right side of my plan is my selling system. It's very important. The purpose of any business is to create a customer. There should be no confusion about what you should be doing in a day. What you should be doing in a day is generate new business. So over here, I have my goals that I write out every night. I have my actuals. I have what day it is. I then go to work on my high value activity, my key targets for the day, my people I'm trying to close in my farm club, my biggest touches for my 25K and above, or my top 25. Then I move into new customers and what am I pushing till tomorrow. I do that every single day, guys. Every day that I'm working. Only day I don't do it. I don't plan my day on Sunday. That's a creative day for me. I don't plan my day on Saturday because that's a day off for me. But Monday through Friday, every day, I'm spending 7 to 15 minutes every night. 98% of people don't do this. They may write their goals once a year, once every 6 months. I'm writing my goals up every day, man. I'm telling my brain what is going to happen tomorrow. Now, does it all shake out exactly the way I planned? Of course not. Things come up, but I triage. I deal with the issue and I get right back to business. I get right back to what's on this plan. This plan keeps me focused.
Absolutely. Yeah. Plan your work and work your plan. Right. Yeah. So that's great, Coach. So we're going to run through and just go to review. Plan your day, go on offense instead of defense, nourish your total self, mind, body, heart, spirit. I love how even your plan for the day, you have time to work in your body. You have time to work on your spirit. You have, stuff that really affects everything and are small commitments to building and developing all 4 parts of yourself. And then staying in dynamic state, being open to learning, humble, all the things you talked about, being cognizant of that as well. So there's a way to sort of what I love about this is that there's a way to systemize it where you are in control much more than you think you can be of your confidence every day, right?
Yeah. Confusion is randomness in motion. Mm-hmm. A good coach eliminates confusion, time confusions, prospecting confusions, follow-up confusions, service to customer confusions. Like, a good coach comes in and says this: without this ingredient we're talking about, confidence, listen, you won't make outbound calls. You won't go to events. You won't extend yourself. You won't call new people. You'll just listen. When we're low on confidence, we go back to old habits in new ways. That's what we do, man. We go back to old habits in new ways. Well, I don't like calling people. I don't feel like calling people. I don't feel like servicing after the sale. I don't feel like to go into these events. I don't feel like hosting these events. Right? Like, amateurs don't listen to their feelings. Excuse me, amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals don't. That's the big difference.
Absolutely. And I think you made a great point too about confidence affecting everything from creativity to effort to the amount of connections you're making. So no matter what you're doing, if you need to have a creative solution to something, if you need to, reach out and make a connection, if you need to put in some extra work, the confidence is going to be inherently what drives you to be able to do that. Right.
Yeah, because I think, listen, confidence is working that muscle, man. Mm-hmm. I tell salespeople on my team, if you don't know the product, you don't know our online academy, you need to come in an hour early and study on it. You need to be watching 6 segments a day. You need to work your muscle harder, because right now you ain't working the muscle. That's why you're not confident. And when you get on the phone with people, you can't overcome objection. You can't handle questioning. You don't know how to pivot to the right product because you don't know the product.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's yes, this is a great system here for building confidence, and I love it, Coach. So let's switch to protecting confidence, because no one's infallible, and people do lose. You will inevitably face crises of confidence. So how do you protect your confidence? Talk to people about that.
Well, I want you to think of your confidence as yours, okay? One of the biggest things that erodes our confidence is taking our confidence and placing it in other people's hands. And that could be anybody, by the way: your spouse, your kids, your boss, your coworkers, your friends. Listen, one of my key principles is never allow another person to stand between you and your destiny. Okay? I have got to get you to a point where other people's opinion of you is none of your business. Okay? Now, I can tell you this because of the volume I go through. I may speak at an event and there may be 10,000 people there. and 4,000 of them love me, and 2,000 of them kind of like me, 2,000 of them hated me. And my point is, I can't place my confidence in your hands, man. So what if the 4,000, I get 4,000 positive notes and I feel good about it? Then what if I got 2,000 negative notes? Is my confidence, you understand what I'm saying? So my point is, the way I protect my confidence is I diversify it. And this is a key point of this book that I wrote called Swag, is that financial advisors will tell you to diversify your portfolio, not to have all your eggs in one basket. I would tell you the same thing is true of your confidence. If all of my confidence is tied up in how my wife feels about me today, what if she upset with me today? What if one of my coworkers is upset with me today? Then is my confidence shot? Like you can't determine my confidence. You can't determine my value. I determine that. So this is something I learned, and thank goodness I had 10 years of being a basketball coach. And the funny thing was, the more games I won, the more people didn't like me. And but I had to learn to get over it. I had to learn to get past people's feelings. I had to learn to get past the noise, man. I had to learn to get past majoring into minor. So when I say I diversify my confidence, I put my confidence in about 12 different buckets. Okay. Because I know at any given time, not all those buckets are going to be operating correctly. Okay. Like right now, my mom's mad at me about something. I ain't figured out what she's mad at me about, but I'm 43 years old. She's mad at me. She won't talk to me. And I'm like, man, what's wrong with you, mom? I mean, did I do something? Did I not do something? But my point is, all my confidence is not tied up in how my mom thinks about me. Okay, it can't be, because what if it's misdirected anger? What if she's mad at somebody else, but she's taking it out on me? What if, I can't get caught up in all that, man. It's people that major in the minors get caught up in those things.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you're talking about, diversifying is protection. Really, the more you have it spread out amongst things, and the more of it you have it over things you place in things you can control, the better. I love how you also said once, if you say self-actualized people, they're totally independent of the opinions of others. Can you talk about that a little bit?
It's a great question. Yeah. When you study, if our goal is to self-actualize, very few people, I bet if I ask you, how many people in your lifetime have you come across or came across that you would say were self-actualized people? You're probably going to say what, less than 3? Maybe
not many. Yeah.
In my lifetime, it's been less than 5 people. I'm talking about people that are clicking on every cylinder they've got. You're like, dude, this dude is operating at a frequency I can't even think. Right? It seems like they're self-actualized, which is the movement toward your fully realized human potential. Okay. Well, one of the traits, there's X number of traits of self-actualized people. One of the traits of a self-actualized person is they are totally independent of the good opinion of other people. That means they do not care whether people like them or do not like them. They are beating to their own drum. They're moving toward a frequency. They're doing something. And I think when it comes to protecting your confidence, I want you to think of it as you have the key to it. Okay. I used to have people say, well, that destroyed my daughter's confidence. And I said, well, my job is to teach her that no other person can destroy your confidence unless you let them. Between stimulus and response is a space, and in that space lies our ability to choose our response. Meaning you can say whatever you want to me, about me. It's up to me to decide if I'm going to, right? That's why I love the saying, never wrestle with the pig. You both get muddy and the pig loves it. So number one, I can't get caught up in all that, man. I got too much to worry about to let other people affect my confidence. So what I do is I take my confidence, I diversify it. I'm working on my body, my mind, my heart, my spirit, my relationships, my business. I'm working on all these parts of my nature. I'm building great friendships with people. I'm trying to diversify that, and I'm taking that key to the confidence safety deposit box, and I'm hiding it. Like, you ain't getting access to that key. Okay. Because I've had times that I've completely felt like I was clicking on every cylinder, and man, we didn't sell anything. It didn't work. And I thought, man, we don't lose, we learn. We learn something valuable here today that's going to help us in the future. It wasn't a loss, it was a win. We figured something out, man. And maybe I had to go through all this to figure it out, but we needed to figure it out. So that's what I would tell you about protecting your confidence.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I love how you say confident people use fear as fuel instead of being paralyzed by it or leading it to, make them stagnant or, inert. They actually use it to fuel their actions. Can you talk about that?
Just because a person is confident does not mean they don't wake up scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You gotta not confuse this. Confident people wake up scared just like everybody else does. They have feelings just like everybody else does. The difference is, how do they use fear? Okay. I can tell you from coaching thousands of people, when lots of business owners get scared, the very first thing they do is start cutting things. Right? Like they cut, like we got to cut expenses. We got to cut this. We got to cut that. I would tell you that's the exact opposite thing you need to be doing. Big time people use fear to activate prey drive. It's like, I'm scared, and because I'm scared, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to make double the amount of phone calls. I'm going to work the selling system harder. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to be doing because I ain't been doing it. Like fear, disappointment, anger, anxiety. These are all emotions that can be used to produce at a high level. So when I get scared, I double down, man. I don't cut things. I create more. That's the sign of a big time person. And I would tell you, listen, we have people, we're coaching all kinds of people around the country. First time they get scared, they want to quit the coaching. I'm like, oh, I can't afford to get coaching. I'm like, man, cut out drinking beer on the weekend. Cut out goofing off. Cut out eating out at Longhorn Steakhouse 4 times a month. What you need to do is get buckled down on what I'm teaching you. I'm going to show you how to make more money. I'm going to teach you how to build, maintain, and protect your confidence. And what is that worth, by the way? If you ever learn this concept that we're teaching in this webinar today, how much money is that worth to you in your lifetime to know how to protect your confidence? It's like a book. If I pick up a book at the airport today or anywhere at the bookstore when I'm headed to St. Louis tonight, let's say I buy the book for $30, but it gives me an idea to make $1 million. Is the book worth $30 or is it worth $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's how you got to be thinking about this concept. It's an intangible, but man, it's powerful. Protecting your swag is powerful.
I love it. I love it, man. And I love the crazy thing about fear is that action kills fear. Like if you want the fear to go away, it's like the best thing you can do is take action and follow through, with, your promises to yourself, et cetera. And that like magic, the fear will dissolve, Yeah. So great points. To diversify your confidence, decide you will never allow another person to own your confidence and continuously feed your confidence, through action. So I love it, Coach. I'll pause. Do we have any questions yet right now for Coach? I don't see the sidebar. Coach, do you see any questions so far?
I see. This is so good. I was trying to make the video larger. It's small in the corner on my computer. I think they're seeing me, you and I down here in the thing.
Gotcha. Yeah,
you guys, if you have any questions for me, or here's a question. Can you give examples of some of the 12 buckets you feed your confidence from? Sure. When you think about buckets of confidence, always start with the 4 major ones: body, mind, heart, spirit. Those are 4. Then I begin going to relationships, personal relationships, my wife, my daughter, my family. Then I start going to friendships, because I think a good friend can really help you protect your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about a good friend. Then I start going passion, recreation. What am I doing to feed myself? Then I just keep going till I have these different buckets to where I know that not all of those buckets are going to be operating at a high frequency all the time. Some of those buckets are going to be deficient, man, for whatever reason. So that's how I diversify my confidence in 12 different buckets. And not necessarily you need 12. I think you need at least 8. But if I had to start with 4, I'd start with body. Gain confidence in the body, gain confidence in the mind. I had confidence in my body before. I was working out before. I'm just working out at such a higher frequency, and I've got better results with it, with somebody working me out every day. So that's a new confidence for me. So I would go to work on the 4 parts of your nature. Great
question. Great answer, Coach. Any other questions right now while we're?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Let's keep going then. Let's talk, Coach. All right, regaining lost confidence. You've lost your swag. Something's happened to you. Maybe you lost your job. You went through a divorce. Something tough has happened in your life. Talk to me about how to regain lost confidence and the 3 things they can do.
All right. So when you lose your swag, and like I said, what takes years to build up can take seconds to tear down. I mean, you get bad news, sale doesn't come through, whatever. Somebody attacks you, sues you, whatever it is you're going through. Okay. What can happen very easily is you start losing confidence. Like, can we do this? Right? It's all a fear. Fear of, can we produce money? Fear of, can we keep living this lifestyle? Fear of losing everything. So what I do, so just remember, when you're low on confidence, you can always borrow from somebody who has a lot of confidence. Okay. So one of the things I do is when I'm start feeling small, or I'm scared of what's going on, I immediately start tuning into somebody who thinks big. I'm watching their videos, I'm listening to their podcasts, I'm reading their books, and I'm snapping out of that fall. I'm snapping out of that little bitty thinking. Okay. So how I regain confidence is when I go low, I borrow from other people. Number two is I start working a muscle, man. I start doing something. Confidence comes through repetition, systematic, consistent, ongoing action. It never comes from stagnation. Like you said earlier, action cures a lot of fear. Yeah, man. What I do is I take action. Okay. So when I get low on confidence, I start taking small steps. I start making and keeping commitments to myself. I start getting involved in an area I can be successful in. I start with one area of my nature and I begin working on that. But more importantly, I see people lose confidence in sales. It's like they have a bad month or a bad day or a bad week, or they lose a sale or somebody quits on them. Here's the solution to that, man. You need to have so much volume that it don't phase you when one person leaves you, acts crazy, acts a fool, freaks out. Like, you need to have enough volume. Volume is the solution to a lot of sales problems. Okay. So what I do is I get in there and bang out phone calls, and I get in there and make connections, and I get in there and do video. Like, sometimes some of the videos I do are for me. They're not for you guys. It's like, man, I need to coach myself up this morning on this. I need some self-encouragement. Okay. Now, there is a question here that I think is a good question. How do you know your feeling of confidence is not arrogance? That's a great question. Arrogance is when your self-appraisal is higher than your market value. Is you overvalue yourself. Okay. Now, I'm studying human nature right now, and it goes into narcissism. Every person is narcissistic in some way. Narcissism is a form of self-love. People that are overly narcissistic have a deficiency, or had a deficiency of love at some point in their life. So they're having to love themselves more. Okay. If that makes sense. But everybody has a deep affinity with themselves. Everybody thinks they're good at something. Everybody has a love for that. Arrogance is when you are really claiming to be better than what you really are. And I do see a lot of that in an Instagram world, a Facebook world, people in front of Lamborghinis and cars and it's, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying sometimes it's a false sense of confidence, or what my buddy Matt Monero would be, a false positive. I'm more interested in being good than looking good. Okay. And because I'm interested in mastery, that's just the coach in me. So I think confidence comes through mastery. So why did I lose my confidence? I placed it in other people's hands. I wasn't prepared. I underperformed, right? I let something else shake me. Like, that's how I lost it. Now, how do I get it back? Go back to the discipline of doing it. Go back to the fundamentals of doing it.
Great answer, man. And going back to, I think you made a great point about the arrogance versus confidence, comparing people who are like public speaking coaches who have never spoken before, or been paid to speak, things like that. So it's where your actual market value, like you said, is at the same level as your confidence level. And then you talk about too, working the system. Is another thing you can do to regain lost confidence is working your process, and just go into that, I guess, real quick.
This system I have, this selling system, like, if you don't have a selling system and you're running a business, the purpose of the business is to generate customers. So the selling system it gives me confidence. I know the system works because it's worked with so many people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that system and I'm going to work that system, and I'm going to know that when I work the system, something's got to happen. Selling is a game of probability. If I make 200 phone calls versus 12 phone calls, I'm going to feel more confident on 200 than I am on 12. Okay. So that's part of the question. Now, one of the questions I see here is, do you believe in daily affirmations? Pam Mender said, do you believe it? Absolutely. I believe in the first sale you got to make every day is to your own self. The first person you got to believe in is you. So I have some affirmations like, I am a person of interest. People are counting on me to show up and deliver today. My positive energy is going to be greater than any negative energy I face. Okay. I will take more action. I'm coaching myself in these scenarios because sometimes there is nobody else there to encourage you. You got to self-encourage. Okay. Versus relying on other people to encourage you all the time.
Yeah. That's a great point about daily affirmations. It's that self internal dialogue. What are you saying to yourself? And how's that affecting your confidence, right?
Yeah, I think some of the worst conversations we have are conversations with ourselves. Mm-hmm. How some people talk to themselves privately, it's terrible. They would never talk to other people like that. The way they talk to themselves. There's this self-talk is so critical. Like you have, like when we study self-esteem in school, positive, like I have a 7-year-old daughter and she's now learning who she can trust, who's good friends, who are not. She's talking to me this morning on the way to school about who her friends are, who she can't trust. She's 7 years old. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But she's already socially learning these things. Like I need to stay away from that person. I need to not be involved in that with that person. I need to, but her confidence, her self-esteem is really being formed right now. Okay. I have an only child and I know we go down to the local parks and stuff and she always wants to play with other kids. Like she's just dying to have a sister. But I noticed that sometimes some of those kids may or may not want to play with her. And my daughter can't understand why. She thinks it's a form of rejection. Look how early we start feeling rejected.
Yeah.
If she comes to me and says, Daddy, why don't they want to play with me? And I'm trying to explain to her, look, sometimes other kids ain't going to want to play with you. Sometimes you're not going to sell every person you come across. Sometimes it's not a good partnership. There's 7 billion people on the planet. Like there is no such thing as rejection. Some will want what you have. Some will not want what you have. So what? Just keep on moving, man. That's a big piece of confidence.
That's a great point, man. And I think, and you've talked about this before about how there's no shortage of people, of money, of opportunities. It's, what there is a shortage of is creativity, effort, and connection. So that goes back to regaining lost confidence. It's just putting the energy back into, forming new connections, filling your pipeline if you're in sales, and then doing the little things, right, that will make you more effective with whatever you're doing day to day, right?
Yeah, you got to come to this conclusion that there is no shortage of opportunity. Mm-hmm. There is a shortage of courage. Mm-hmm. There is a shortage of follow through. There is a shortage of creativity. There is a shortage of confidence, but there is no shortage of opportunity. That's why. Would you rather have $1 billion or would you rather have 1 billion friends? Because if you had 1 billion friends, you make more than $1 billion. Right. All the money you're looking for is in the pocket of other people. You ain't connected to those people. See, being famous today. Like when I wrote the book, Person of Interest, confidence is one of the characteristics of people of interest. Being famous today is not being on a pedestal. It is how many people feel connected to you, how many people believe in you, how many people get an energy from you. That's how you become famous today. Okay, because you got something valuable to say to the world, and other people align with that. There's an affinity with that. Yeah.
It's there's a magnetism, if you will. So going back, I love it. And we to add borrow. I love your thing about borrowing confidence from other people. That's a great point. Borrow from other people, take more action, increase the volume of what you're doing, and work your system. Those are the best ways to regain lost confidence. Great stuff, Coach. And then we've got one last major topic here, and this is relevant for people in sales, really for anyone. If you're trying to pitch something internally at your company, something like that, how do you overcome objections? So talk to people about overcoming objections, what they are, and how to overcome them and get past them.
I think it's important to understand that what some people think are objections are not true objections. Mm-hmm. An objection is an opposition of thought. An objection is, I asked my sales team the other day, what's the top 2 objections you get? I said, it's simple, time and money. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Well, you're never going to have the money until you take the time. You never, like I say, we could have this talk today, or we could have it 6 months from today. But if you want to increase your income, why would we waste 6 months? Like there's formulas to overcome objection. Like first I agree, then I listen, I agree, I ask isolation questions. I do like the isolation question when I'm overcoming objection, meaning, is there any other reason outside of this one thing that you're telling me that's keeping you from moving forward with me? Okay. It seems like you want to do it, but you're stuck on this one thing. So I listen, I agree, I isolate, I validate. If I could show you how to do this, would you be interested? And then if they don't seem interested after that, I challenge them. Yesterday, I was on a sales call with the guy that my sales team told me was interested. I did not think he was interested. So about halfway through the call, I said, man, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about this? Because it don't seem like you're very serious. I said, it seems like you're at a 1 or 2, man. And I you know, I don't want to waste your time. I certainly don't want to waste my time. Then when I said that, he's like, no, I just don't have enough information. Like you're right. Like he's acting disinterested. I challenged him. Okay. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? Doesn't seem like you're that serious. Seems like you're at a 1 or 2. And I only work with serious people. So then at that point, he's like, oh, no, I'm serious. I'm like, well, are you serious about growth? Are you serious about having a coach? Are you serious about me helping you? Are you serious about me getting the results that I've got from other people in your industry to help them get a significant lift in their business? Then we were able to have a conversation. Yes, I am serious. I just need more information. I don't really understand what it is. Okay, great. So if I send over some information, you're going to look at it, right? I ask very specific questions when I'm selling. I ask great discovery questions. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think a lot of people don't see an insecure person wouldn't do any of that. Right. See, when that person seemed disinterested yesterday, an insecure person said, okay, I'm sorry to bother you. You know, I just challenged the dude, man. It seems like you're not that interested on a scale of 1 to 10. How interested are you? How serious are you? Right. And so I think it takes a confidence. Now, I was with one of my salespeople yesterday, and she was telling me, I don't have the status you do to ask those questions. I don't want to come across as arrogant. And I said, you could say, you know what Coach Burt would say right here, right? Or this is one thing we teach in our company is that we lose 10% of momentum every day we don't act. Or we can't help you until you commit, but once you commit, we're not going to let you fail. So we have scripting that we use to get a person across the finish line. But without any confidence, the script don't matter. The script ain't going to talk to the person. You're going to have to talk to the person. So I got to build confidence, man. I got some people on my team right now, their confidence is higher than it's ever been. And why? Having success, working the muscle, working this. They're doing everything we're teaching in this webinar today.
I love it. Yeah. So you've given them preparation. You've got, like, I love that you use scripts and they specifically address issues people might be having, and then digging into, you're kind of discovering sometimes what the opposition thought is, right, with these challenging questions. You have to you're doing that's the whole purpose of discovery calls, right, is discover the opposition thought and then combat it, right?
Yeah, because a person can quickly go from no interest to interest in one conversation. Like the people watching this webinar today, before the webinar may have had no interest in me ever being their coach because they didn't even know who I was. Okay. So the concept of having no interest is now there is an interest, or now there could be an interest, but there was no interest before. Right.
Right.
So what if I picked up the phone and called each one of those people and said, hey, this is Coach Burt. What did you like about today? What did you not like? What are you looking to do? I'm here to help you, man. I want to connect to you. I want to have good intention, and I want to help you get to a better place in your life. And I believe we can do that. So that takes confidence to have that phone call. Okay. It takes confidence to take action like that.
Yeah, and so going back to taking that action and confidence, you talk about internal considerations being a prohibitor of people maybe doing that follow-up phone call and that sort of thing, or asking those questions. Can you talk about removing internal considerations? A
consideration is an internal thought that prohibits an external action. And I taught a course on this last year. It's one of the best courses I think I've ever taught, because we have so many internal considerations, like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm stalking them. Oh, I don't want to seem too aggressive. Oh, I don't want to follow up 7 times. Oh, they're not going to answer the phone. Oh, what if they don't like me? What if they tell me to get lost? Like we have all of these things internally that prohibit us from taking action. I don't know what your thoughts are about me until I pick up the phone and call you. I could sit here and assume all day long, well, they don't like it. They don't like me. They're not interested. Those are all assumptions. Those are all considerations. Okay, so think of a consideration as a hesitation. The hesitation typically comes from your past. Somewhere along the way, somebody told you weren't good, you weren't this, you weren't that. Because of that, you bought that lie. Now you carry that past past hesitation to all future situations.
So how do you coach someone to remove those internal considerations, like on your team? What are you doing to get them, not to let those affect them and that sort of thing?
Through taking daily consistent action. We make about 80 phone calls a day from each salesperson, and some of those people were nervous to get on the phone, didn't feel confident, and had a consideration. So I've taught them to ask very direct questions. Okay, you saw Coach Burt speak in Phoenix. What specifically did you like about it? Would you be interested in this? Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? Like I've taught them to ask hard questions to qualify people so we don't waste our time or their time. But an internal consideration is, man, I don't want to seem pushy. I don't want to seem arrogant. I don't want to seem superior. I don't want, right? Like that consideration. What you do is you put the buyer in control versus you. I think a true expert, you take the control of the call. You direct it. You don't allow the consumer. The consumer don't know what they need until you show them, right? Like I'll be having a conversation with people and telling them what I do and explaining my services, and they'll go, that's exactly what I need. Like, I need my management team to get better because there's slippage between me and my managers and my frontline workers. And man, I didn't know what I needed, but see, but I'm an expert, so I'm not going to ask you what you think you need. I'm going to tell you what I think you need based on my demonstrated capacity of doing it. That's why you're coming to me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's action. It goes back to action being the killer of fear. It's the killer of fear and consideration by doing the stuff, and they grow that by making the calls, asking the questions. They develop that internal confidence that removes all that stuff entirely. That makes sense. Awesome, Coach. So remove internal considerations, understand objections as opposition and thought, and then I would add take action. Take action that removes that consideration and hesitation over time. So awesome. That's the main discussion points for us today. I want to go ahead and just open up to Q&A right now, if that's okay. Do we have any questions for Coach Burt? We have 5 minutes, so we have time for one or two more. Actually, I see one right here. What are some ideas to build confidence in others that lack confidence? From Bo Williams.
Yeah, I think I see this a lot. I think I go back to, if I'm trying to build confidence in another person, I remember confidence is the memory of success. I need to put them in a situation to be successful. Like I talk about my wife. She is writing her own books now, doing her own thing, and now companies are hiring my wife to coach the women, which is something she's never done before. So she's not overly confident in that area, although she has written a book for women. It's called it's called Living with the Monster, by the way. And so I affirm and validate her. You can do this. I believe in you. Let's go through what you're going to talk about. Let's work on it. And then every time she does it, she gets more confident. See, overcoming the insecurity is doing it, no matter what it is. Okay. So I encourage people to get in the ball game, man. You're never going to be confident if you don't try. You're never going to do it if you don't make that first phone call. You're never going to do it if you don't get rejected one time. You know, like a dude today on a webinar, I thought he had such a great line. He said, if I was doing a recipe of success, it'd have 2 cups of rejection and 3 glasses of sounding stupid and 2 ounces of, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I thought it was just such a cool formula. He's like, when you mix it all up, when you mix the whole thing up of all those things, then you become successful. But the road to success is through these failures. It's through trying and working the muscle and go, man, it didn't work. It's okay that it didn't work. Too many people see things that don't work as, points of dramatic points. Here's my point. Big time people try things and they don't work, man. And it's okay. Some of the stuff we do is going to work. Some of it's not going to work.
Absolutely. And it goes back to Bo's question, building confidence in others. You can be the person that someone borrows confidence from, right? Like you say, borrow confidence. That's the affirmation, the validation, the encouragement, the coaching, like that. You're now that your energy is being transferred to them. They are going to become more confident, right?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident when I hang around confident people.
Yeah.
So when you're low on confidence, When you're low on confidence, borrow from other people. Get around big time people. Expand your thought. Go to places. Like go experience it. That will build confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Bo. And we have 2 minutes left, so I want to wrap up here. First, I want to say, Coach, thank you so much for coming on. This is so important. This is awesome content for everybody. And I also want to plug you being at NextCon in a month here in Phoenix. I encourage everyone, and maybe you've already attended or registered. I'm sorry, maybe you've already registered. If you haven't, check it out. There's a link here in the sidebar. It's going to be an awesome presentation from Coach there as well. And then we've also linked Coach's website, his books. You've got a ton of stuff out there for people, man. I really encourage people to check you out, because I mean, even just from watching what I've seen and just even today talking, I've learned so much, man. I feel more confident just from this conversation,
Well, I think for those that are looking at coming to this conference, I would tell you, no matter how good the webinar is, it's going to be 10 times better in person. I'm a live person. I love live events. My goal is to bring an energy, but bring a deep methodology to you. And you walk out of there going, this is a game changer, man. This is not a game changer, it's a life changer. So I would encourage you to come out to Phoenix and be with us. I'm excited about speaking at this conference. I get to speak all over the country, and it's a great energy exchange. This is a popular topic, this confidence piece. But what I'll be talking about that day is sales tactics and strategies on how to build your business that we're coaching some of the top people in the world on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be awesome, man. So everyone take a look at that in the sidebar. Coach, thanks so much. This has been a pleasure, man. I can't wait to see you in person in Phoenix. Awesome.
Well, you did a great job. I want to commend you on your doing homework, watching the videos and reading the books, because I can tell that you were a confident interviewer because you knew what you were talking about. You didn't wing it. You didn't ask bad questions. You did the work, man. And I appreciate that, because it makes a great interview. It makes a great interview. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Well, yeah, it's it's enjoyable topics to learn about. So important stuff too. So it was pleasure's all mine. I get more out of it than anybody. So thanks so much, everybody. We're going to sign off here. Thank you, Coach. And you'll be able to access this webinar on demand anytime at this link. We'll send you guys a follow-up. Thank you again. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right. Excellent.